There's so much focus on our physical health. It's important not to forget about our mental health.
What I think we're facing here is a very traumatic event for a lot of people. It's a
day 40 something.
We're up to 50 something.
Threatening our physical and mental health.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, and stressed.
Isolation can make one feel even more depressed, anxious, and continue to have those thoughts that are really hard to get out of a loop once you've started.
I worry about the people in my life.
Triggering event for those with pre-existing conditions like anxiety.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people's mental health has been getting worse. Because people are in quarantine for weeks and even months, anxiety and depression are on the rise. I think it's very important to realize that the COVID-19 pandemic is not only affecting our physical health, but our mental health as well. Watch as I interview my friend, G, who suffers from anxiety, and see how she's doing during the quarantine. Hey G, how have you been doing?
Pretty good, Cedric. How are you?
I'm good to hear. As good as we can be during this pandemic.
That's true.
So I wanted to just ask you a couple questions on your experience and how it relates to your mental health. So if you want to get into that, let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. The first question I wanted to ask is, how have you been dealing with your mental health during this pandemic?
I've been doing my best. It can be pretty difficult because in kind of this isolation state, you're really left alone with your thoughts, and that can either make or break people. So I've kind of been trying to get in tune with myself, my mental, my body, and trying to manage that as well as finishing the semester.
Now, what are some of the things that you've been doing to combat the isolation? Feel like you are kind of keeping the same schedule and trying to maintain normalcy, is what I'm saying.
I think that definitely still having the obligation of school has kept me on track. I don't want to fall behind in assignments or finals. It's kind of the last stretch. I'm a senior, and so I still have to wake up for class. I still try to, get up, take notes. I work out 3 times a week with my dad to keep us both healthy, because it's very easy to fall into a state of being very lazy. I would know that because I'm a very lazy person, but trying to make sure that my family's staying healthy kind of motivates me to stay healthy. And it also, I think, helps just to have time in the day that you're not just alone with your thoughts, that you're also working on your body. It feels good to release adrenaline and just get your blood pumping.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best way to really try and stay sane is just to distract yourself and try and do as many things as possible, Do you know anyone whose mental health has been affected during this pandemic?
I actually know a few people that have been really severely affected mental health wise. A more direct impact that I witnessed was living up at school. I'm, back at home with my family now, because I had to leave my house that I live at when I go to school, because one of my housemates was severely affected, and it turned into a very potentially dangerous place for me to live in. But she's really affected, and I honestly have never experienced anything like that in my life. And just seeing that and hearing about other people affected really showed me that, one, this pandemic, this social distancing, this isolation really gets to a lot of people. And I think it even provokes and prompts people to showcase inner demons that they're battling, as well as kind of heighten whatever mental illness that they may be struggling with in the first place. And that, I think, is exactly what happened in that case.
That's very unfortunate to hear, and I'm so sorry, because not only do you want to help these people, but sometimes the resources aren't available. And especially now, you can't just call someone or go somewhere because a lot of things are closed. Many people do not have the access to get to these places as well. And it's really upsetting that, you know, it's really taking a toll on people's mental health. How many days have you been in quarantine?
It's almost been a month since I had to leave my house at school. And then we had been quarantining as a house for about 2 weeks before that. So about a month and a half. I was lucky enough to leave. You know, I did have the resources to get home, but you know, my housemates are still there. The affected housemate is still there struggling and still is not getting the help that she needs. So be patient with people, because at the end of the day, if someone really wants to get help for themselves and hospitals are filled or their family isn't in a place to help them and they're by themselves, then what else is there to do?
Well, G, thank you so much for joining me and, you know, providing some information. I hope you're staying safe. I hope your family is staying safe. We can get through this, you know. Just continue to keep practicing and doing some of the things that you've explained to me in order to keep sane during quarantine. I wish you the best. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Bye.